Hello there, and welcome to Conversations with Jimmy. This is a space where news and stories meet real talk. Now, this channel dives into thought provoking discussions on social issues, politics, and anything that shapes our world today. So, today I bring you a very controversial topic, and I'm sure that you must have been seeing the headlines everywhere. The Nigerian Senate has just passed a bill mandating life imprisonment for anybody who engages in unlawful sexual activity with a minor. And this is where it gets interesting. Life imprisonment without a fine or a parole. Now, this is highly commendable from the Nigerian Senate. I must tell you that. Now, this is a dramatic escalation from the present 5-year jail term under the nation's criminal code. Lawmakers described the defilement of minors as a heinous act capable of destroying a child's life forever, insisting that the punishment must reflect the gravity of the offense.
For a minor, this is a kid who is not capable of consenting or otherwise, and whose life can be destroyed almost permanently. Those involved in defilement should suffer greater punishment. I propose that it should be 20 years if you defile an underage. Because I've seen cases of boys and girls under 10 years old, 5 years old, defiled by adults.
You have proposed that for minors, defilement should carry 20 years. Any seconder?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you wanted to say something?
I wanted to propose a more stiffer punishment for defilement. Life imprisonment. Because in other crimes, actually it's life imprisonment. In fact, capital punishment. Particularly in India, Pakistan, and what have you, it's capital punishment. But here we can reduce it to life imprisonment.
Now, this is highly commendable, and I'm sure that many of you would agree with that because these are the kind of issues that Nigerians want to be brought to the forefront. But in as much as we applaud the Senate for passing this bill, I strongly believe that this is just a side of the coin because we need to give clarity and clear definitions on, there are some keywords here. When you say minor, when you say defilement, according to the Nigerian Constitution, who is a minor? How do you define defilement? So these are some of the things that we're going to be looking at because it will shock you that if such cases or when such cases come before a judge, you'll find out that there are going to be different interpretations on who a minor is or what exactly is defilement. Now, who is a minor and what does defilement mean? So these are questions that we need to ask. According to the Nigerian's Child Rights Act of 2003, a minor is anyone below 18 years of age. Now, Section 218 of the Criminal Code Act defines defilement as unlawful carnal knowledge of a girl under the age of 13. Do you see the loopholes here? Do you see the confusion? So if this case, for example, is brought before a judge, how would the judge define who a minor is? Because if you're saying that the criminal code says that a minor is somebody under the age of 13, and the Child Rights Act is saying a minor is someone under the age of 18. Now, let us talk about defilement. What is defilement? What happens in order for you to tag something as defilement? Now, in Nigeria, defilement is not explicitly defined in the Constitution, but it is addressed under the Criminal Code Act and the Child Rights Act. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I got this from the internet, so you feel free to challenge, correct me if I'm wrong, because when this bill was passed, I'm like, okay, if you're saying that anyone who abuses a minor will spend his life behind bars, and let me tell you, it cuts across any gender. If a boy is violated, the woman goes behind bars.
So in this case, it doesn't matter whether it is a woman or a man that does the defilement. The most important thing is that if a woman lures a minor to defy, life imprisonment.
Now, on the issue of defilement, does it include all forms, all forms of sexual abuse, or we're just limiting it to sexual intercourse? I don't know if I'm communicating. There are different ways you can sexually abuse somebody, right? Without the general, connotation of what you and I think it should be. So are we just limiting defilement to sexual intercourse or all forms of sexual abuse? We need to have such conversations. Now, another question I wanted to ask ourselves is, will this law be applicable nationwide? Would it be applicable nationwide? Because a federal law, according to my research, does not automatically become applicable or operative in the 36 states of the Federation. Because every state is expected to reenact the said act as a state law within its territory, as matters of child rights is not on any of the legislative list of the Constitution. Another important question that I'm thinking, that you are also thinking, is what about child marriage? Let me cast your mind back to a former governor of Zamfara State, Governor Sani Yerima, who married a 13-year-old in 2009. And remember the controversy, the outrage that sparked. And I remember that the Constitution had a clause saying that anybody who is married is of age. And I know that the senators voted to remove that particular clause from the Constitution. If you're saying that once you're married, you are of age, it means that you've not committed any offense. So that means even if a one-day-old gets married, so that person is of age. This bill is a bold move, but it is just the beginning. We need clarity. We need enforcement. Let us protect our children. Now, if you find my analysis or my expose, if you find it interesting, please drop your comment. And please, there is nothing bad in us educating each other. If there's something I must have said that contravenes your knowledge or contravenes the Constitution, please feel free to drop your comments. Thanks for watching. It's still the Conversation channel. Everyone, and welcome to Conversations with Jumi, where this